All right, guys, so we got to talk about one of my favorite topics to talk about once again, which are parents standing up to these woke school districts that are basically trying to wokeify our children, okay? They're trying to turn our children into woke LGBTQ BLM activists, okay? AKA future Democrat Party voters, right? That's my conspiracy about what's going on in these schools, because they really are not concerned about educating kids on, basic math, reading, science, anything that's actually going to help them get a job or be productive citizens of society. They really don't care about that, okay? What they actually really care about is, again, pushing their woke propaganda and ideology on them. And these parents out of Fairfax County, Virginia, are saying no, right? They are pushing back against the latest attempt from this school board to push this ideology on children, okay? As parents are slamming this school board for considering punishing students for misgendering and creating co-ed sex ed classes, okay? So I want you guys to understand. This is happening in Fairfax County, Virginia, right? The same county in which this has basically been a battleground for the war against parents and school boards, okay? And this war has basically spread across the whole country, okay? As we're seeing parents standing up across the country against their woke school boards. And a lot of that started in Fairfax County, Virginia. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play this clip of these parents protesting the school board considering punishing students for misgendering and creating co-ed sex ed classes. Take a look.
But these are very, very dynamic, real-world adult issues. And we're starting at kindergarten through third grade and things that, frankly, even adults struggle with, as we know. At that age, it's really important to just kind of major on the majors, the reading and the writing and the arithmetic, especially in our great state of Virginia, where, sadly, the 8th grade proficiency level for reading is at 34%. And that's in Virginia. Where in Europe, it's 96%. So to try to tackle these politically charged, very dynamic, sort of social, hot buttons at such a young age, it seems very inappropriate, especially when a parent should be the first person to actually have those types of conversations with their child.
They're lowering the age of our sex ed program to 4th grade, and they're making it co-ed, which is, not good because it makes the kids uncomfortable. Obviously, it's not appropriate to have the boys and the girls, at such a young age, covering the sex ed together. And then also because the SRR has a change on the use of malicious misgendering of gender pronouns. And they're making it a suspendable offense.
Too far, too much, too young. That's the easiest way to say it. Back when I was going in school, elementary, it was common sense classroom. And I think a lot of people, a lot of parents, even taxpayers who don't have kids, they believe in a common sense classroom. And it's ridiculous if, for instance, I asked my son this morning what he was gonna learn. He said math, science, language arts, writing, and he said, "Oh, science." That's what we want to hear. Right? We don't want to hear, "I got punished today because I called somebody by the wrong pronoun."
They are expanding upon information that students are hearing here at school, but you would never even dream of mentioning in an adult working environment. Some of the things that kids are being told in school, or even literature that they're receiving in school, is if you sold it on the street, or if you had it on the street, you'd be criminalized for it. So why is it that our youngest children are being preyed upon? And I have 2 young children myself, and I think it's a travesty that parents have to be so concerned and pick through every last bit of information that their kids might be viewing in school.
They have an option as to whether they're female or male is, first of all, wrong. We don't. We're born one way or the other. And to start giving children who don't even know which is their right, which is their left hand, to tell them they have a choice as to their sex is abuse, child abuse in my book.
Yeah, so as you guys can see there, those are upset parents that are outside doing God's work, right? Protesting against this school that, one, is trying to suspend students for malicious misgendering, right? AKA going along with biology, right? They're trying to suspend students for that. And they're also trying to create co-ed sex ed classes, okay? And I think the most controversial part about the co-ed sex ed classes is not the fact that they're co-ed. It's the fact they're going to be co-ed in elementary school, right? They're lowering the age in which they're going to start talking to kids about this stuff to elementary school. Not only are they lowering the age, but they're saying, no, we want boys and girls to be in the same class talking about sex in elementary school, right? Again, I understand exactly why these parents are upset. So let's read about this. The Fairfax County School Board has attracted droves of outraged parents after protesting their vote on proposed changes to school sex ed classes until June 16th. Fox News Digital reported that the proposed changes are to the family life education classes and includes largely eliminating separate gender classes. Quote, the recommendation from the school board sex ed committee would mix boys and girls in 4th through 8th grade for all discussions of puberty, sexually transmitted diseases, and the human reproductive system. Fox added, should the vote pass, students would also be punished for misgendering or using the wrong name for those who identify as transgender or non-binary. Okay, so this school board, right, apparently they're totally fine with having sex ed classes in elementary school, right? I don't think that you should have sex ed classes in elementary school or middle school, okay? If you're gonna have a sex ed class, I think at minimum, right, it should be high school, okay? Maybe junior, senior year or something like that. But in elementary school, not only are you having this in elementary school, but you're trying to put boys and girls in the same class to have an uncomfortable conversation about sex with their teacher, right? And imagine some of the woke teachers that this school has probably hired, right? That, are probably, into the whole gender ideology thing. And some of the things they're going to be talking to these 4th graders about, right? This does not sound like a good idea, right? This does not sound like a good idea at all, okay? And then you have the whole misgendering thing, okay? Where now there's this trend going on across this country that you're seeing in schools in which they're basically punishing students for not using another student's preferred pronouns, right? I did a story about how I think like 2 or 3 kids got accused of sexual harassment for misgendering a student, right? They got accused of sexual harassment. The school filed a Title IX complaint against them, right? That is how outrageously woke some of these schools have become. Okay, and it starts with stuff like this. If you let stuff like this slide, that's where it's going to go, right? They're going to start accusing kids of sexual harassment for misgendering other students, right? That is where this is going to take us, okay? And I think the most outrageous part about this, guys, is the fact that they are postponing voting on these changes until June 16th. So basically, the theory is that, this school board, because they know how outraged parents are going to be, and they definitely want to pass this, right? Because a lot of these school boards are woke. They're saying, hey, look, let's not vote on it now when parents are paying attention, right? Let's wait till the summer where a lot of parents are going out of town, students are out of school, and people aren't paying attention, and then we'll vote on it, and that way there won't be that much backlash. Like, that's exactly what's happening, which is why these parents are so outraged, because they're like, no. If you're going to vote on it now. We already know how y'all want to vote, right? Because if they was going to vote no, they would just vote no and be done with it. The controversial thing to do would be to vote yes, okay? And see, they want as little pushback and backlash as possible, so they're waiting until a time in which they feel like nobody's paying attention, nobody's looking, and then they're going to try to vote yes. That's exactly how these things work every single time. And I'm so happy that these parents aren't stupid enough to fall for that, right? They're too smart, right? They're too smart to fall for the okie doke. Fairfax County School Board is no stranger to controversy. However, in March of this year, parents accused the Fairfax County School Board of racism over admission policy discriminating against Asian students. Yeah, so there was a school, a high-performing school in the county that basically had a whole bunch of Asians go to the school because basically they was the ones that was doing the best in regards to the admission standards, right? And it was like, no, we can't have too many Asians going to the school. So therefore, we have to change the admission policy so that students that are less qualified, aka students of color who are not Asian, right, can be able to get into the school, even though they're not performing as well, right? Parents organized a protest at Luther Jackson Middle School last Thursday in light of the postponed vote to vocalize their rejection of the recommended changes. Many parents who spoke to Fox at the protest were not shy about their concern and anger, with one parent saying, quote, "Boys are boys and girls are girls, and God has uniquely designed each individual the way they are, and starting at a very young age and preying upon young children, grooming young children, having, you know what, pedophilia literature in schools, that's very problematic, and also doing that and focusing so much effort on that when kids are falling behind in academics." Well, that's what they want. They want kids to fall behind in academics. They don't want kids to actually have real life skills. They don't want kids to be able to get good jobs, right? Because if they could have real life skills, take care of themselves, get good jobs, make a whole lot of money, be productive citizens in society, they wouldn't be voters for the Democrat Party, right? I'm just being real. That's what it is. While schools in Fairfax County hold decent rankings in terms of academic performance, some suggest an emphasis on cultural wokeness may have a negative impact on that. Many schools across the nation are seeing low academic performance alongside an increase in woke diversity and inclusion programs. Recently, a middle school in NYC received backlash for teaching children how to apply drag queen makeup despite the school having only 57% proficiency in math. I mean, it could be a lot worse than that. Again, among some of these schools, and particularly among some races, I'm not going to, say any specific races, the percentage for proficiency in math and reading is a whole lot lower, right? But yet, again, while our students can't read and write, they think that these students should be learning about, I don't know, drag queens and, LGBTQ and all types of other stuff, right? They should be learning about BLM, how to protest, social justice. That's the type of stuff they're trying to teach kids in school, instead of actually, again, trying to teach them how to read and write and to do math, okay? Fairfax County has a history of aggressive implementation of woke curriculum and policies at any cost. Last year, the first black PTA head of a Fairfax County school was forced to resign after backlash from opposing the CRT curriculum. Parents of Fairfax County maintain that they are holding their momentum and plan to mobilize against the changes despite the postponement. Yeah, that's exactly what they should do, because this school board is trying to pull the okie doke, right? They're trying to push back the vote when parents are out of town and they're on vacation for the summer, so that way parents don't show up and then there's no scene at the school boards, right? Which is what we've seen, right, happening for the past, couple years or so, parents actually being involved in school, right? Going to these school board meetings, okay? Which is something that I absolutely love to see, and that is something that they should continue to do. But again, every time you look, it seems like these school boards are always trying to actively go against parents, okay, and to go against their wishes. And quite honestly, I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it. So that's why I'm happy that these parents are protesting just even the postponement of the vote, because that means that they know exactly what this school board is trying to do, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.